conversation that I had yesterday with Francis Ngannou about escaping Cameroon, making his way to Morocco, and being arrested 7 times trying to escape Morocco and go to Spain. They would take them after they arrested them, they would hold them, and then they would bring them to the fucking Sahara Desert and drop them off. And they did that to him 7 times. They literally tried to kill them. They tried to drop them off in the desert, no food, no water, no nothing, no clothes. They did it in the winter, they did it in the summer. In the winter, it's horrific because the temperature drops to an insane level and they're nowhere to go. And these Africans are doing this on a daily basis, making this journey from whatever country they're in Africa to try to make it to Europe. And he did it over the course of 14 months. And he outlined this 14-month journey of homelessness, living in the forest. Dude, it was fucking crazy.
In the heart of Batié, young Francis Ngannou's life was anything but easy. Working tirelessly in the sand mines, his hands bore the weight of both his labor and his dreams. Every shovel, every gritty day, was a stark reminder of the limited opportunities that lay before him in his hometown. The passion for boxing that burned within him couldn't be contained by the mines or the confines of Batié. Stories of champions and distant arenas fueled his aspirations. But with every passing day, it became clear, if Francis was to chase the life he envisioned, he would have to leave everything familiar behind. The path ahead was uncertain, yet the drive to break free from the shackles of poverty and pursue his dreams was unstoppable. After making the pivotal decision to leave Batié in search of a brighter future, Francis's journey became even more challenging. He found himself among a group of around 25 individuals, all crammed into an overloaded pickup truck set to traverse the Sahara. This wasn't just a simple 24-hour drive. It was a perilous dash across a vast and unforgiving desert. Holding on securely was a struggle given the truck's overcrowded state. The desert's intense conditions combined with the vehicle's non-stop momentum meant a horrifying reality. If someone were to lose their grip and fall, the truck wouldn't stop, leaving them behind in the merciless expanse. Each passing hour wasn't merely about enduring the harsh environment, but also ensuring he wasn't left stranded, miles away from his dreams. Upon setting foot in Morocco, Francis soon realized that the journey to Europe's doorstep was more challenging than he had anticipated. Morocco was not just a transitory stop. It became a year-long saga of determination, filled with dangers and setbacks. His initial days were marked by a nomadic existence. Without a home or a safe haven, Francis found shelter in the forests. Living homeless and relying on whatever scarce resources he could gather, the thickets became his hideaway from authorities and a base for his numerous attempts to cross into Europe. Attempts to cross the border by land were fraught with perils. On one particularly harrowing occasion, Francis, while trying to hop over a fence, became entangled in barbed wire. The sharp, unforgiving metal tore into his skin, leaving him badly injured. Hospitalization might have seemed the logical next step, but instead, the authorities, indifferent to his plight, simply threw him back into the vast, indifferent desert, left to die. Despite these seemingly insurmountable challenges, giving up and heading back home was never an option for Francis. Undeterred and desperate to make it to Spain, Francis turned to the sea. Time and time again, he and a group of hopefuls would embark on treacherous voyages aboard inflatable boats. Their strategy was clear, yet risky. Venture far enough into the Mediterranean towards Spain, so if and when they were intercepted, it would be by the Red Cross, who would rescue and take them to Spain, rather than back to the unwelcoming terrains of Morocco. Attempt after attempt, the sea proved just as unyielding as the land. 6 times they set forth, and 6 times they were caught and returned. But it was the 7th voyage, laden with hope and desperation, that proved successful. Just as planned, they journeyed far enough for the Red Cross to come to their aid, marking the end of their sea ordeal. Touching Spanish soil should have been a moment of triumph for Francis, but what followed was a twist he hadn't anticipated. Instead of freedom, he was met with cold prison bars. For 2 grueling months, Spain became a cage, not a refuge. This wasn't the typical confinement one would imagine. It was psychological warfare. Though he had braved the Sahara, endured the unforgiving forests of Morocco, and navigated the treacherous Mediterranean waters, it was within these prison walls that Francis faced his harshest trial. The daily torment, uncertainty, and mental games played by his captors pushed him to the edge. It was a dark period where time seemed to stretch endlessly, and hope was but a flickering flame. He would later describe this period as having been through hell, yet fate had another twist. Due to the absence of a repatriation agreement between Spain and Cameroon, the Spanish authorities couldn't send him back. After enduring 2 months of psychological torture, he was finally released onto Spanish streets, free but far from his dream. France beckoned next, with nothing but determination. Francis made his way there, finding himself homeless once again. But this time, the cold, hard ground of a parking lot was different. It was near a gym, a place that would soon become the crucible for his transformation. From this unassuming beginning, surrounded by the echo of punching bags and the scent of leather gloves, Francis embarked on his journey to become one of the world's most formidable fighters. Emerging from the trials of Spain, Francis hoped that France would mark the start of a smoother path. But the City of Lights wasn't immediately welcoming to the Cameroonian traveler. With barely any money, he faced the humbling challenge of hunger, struggling each day to merely feed himself. The dreams of training, let alone paying for a gym membership, seemed distant and improbable. However, fate, once again, had other plans. On a day like any other, with a mixture of hesitation and hope, Francis walked into a local gym. There he encountered Didier Carmon, a man who would change the trajectory of his life. While Francis had dreams of boxing, it was Carmon who recognized a potential in him that transcended the boxing ring. Instead of turning away the penniless aspirant, Carmon offered him not just free training, also a place to sleep, the gym's floor. Under his guidance, Francis's interest began to shift. The world of mixed martial arts opened up to him. Carmon saw not just a budding fighter in Francis, but a potential MMA powerhouse. Through their partnership, the raw power and determination that had carried Ngannou from Cameroon across deserts and seas found a new focus. In the gym's echoing halls and amidst the clatter of equipment, Francis Ngannou, once just a dreamer from Batier, began his ascent, not as a boxer, but as a force to be reckoned with in the MMA arena. From the arid expanses of the Sahara to the bustling streets of Paris, Francis Ngannou's journey has been one of indomitable will and unyielding determination. A tale that began with humble origins in Batier has culminated on the global stage of the UFC. In the fighting arena, Ngannou's prowess was unparalleled. His raw power, combined with the skills honed under Fernand Lopez, made him a force of nature in the octagon. As his victories stacked up, so did his accolades and records. The culmination of his relentless pursuit came when he clinched the UFC heavyweight championship, marking his place among the sport's elite. But for Francis, success was not just about personal glory. It was about coming full circle. With his newfound stature, he returned to Batier, the place where it all began. There, he transformed the lives of his family, providing them with opportunities he could only dream of as a child. Beyond just his family, he sought to inspire and support the dreams of countless others in his hometown, proving that even from the humblest of beginnings, one can rise to the pinnacle of success.